dude. Yes, dude. Aaron is back. Woo! Dude, and I'm back. I've done a podcast hiatus for a couple weeks.
Yeah, what gives?
It's summertime, dude. You know? And I just don't want to do not that I don't want, I love doing the podcast stuff, like talking to guests and doing all that. It's like the post editing, you know, and like being inside, hunched over my computer, editing podcasts when the sun's out, the guns are out, you know, all the stuff's going on. It's just hard for me, man. So I had to.
Ryan, you have to give what the fans want, though.
I had to enjoy my summer, dude. I started river surfing. Have you ever done that?
No, but the last time I was in Munich, I watched people do it in downtown Munich in this little swell.
Yeah.
It looked pretty awesome.
Dude, it's rad. I've seen that one too. I think I've seen that one on YouTube because I live in Bend, Oregon, and there's a river wave here. And when I've lived here for like 6 years now. When I first moved here, I'm like, oh, that looks rad. I'm going to do that. I grew up ocean surfing. It's like, that looks cool. I'm going to do that. And then for some reason, just like summers would come and go, and I just never made it to the river wave. Well, this year I made a point. It's like, I'm going to master this thing. I'm going to surf every day. And that's what I'm doing. I don't have time to do anything but surf and eat tacos.
Nice. Don't tell your employer.
This is my employment. I am my employer. No, I'm joking. I have a real job. But
yeah, don't we all?
I've been bugging to get you back on because I want to follow up with you with all of your adventures because you're just someone that I like to pay attention to. You happen to be building an awesome Mark 1. And what's cool about having you back on the podcast is this is like a no agenda podcast. I don't have to ask you who you are. I don't have to ask you what you're about. We're just going to bullshit for as long as we decide and drink beers.
So this is like a second date.
This is our second date. I'm going to try to get in you, Aaron. So, we need to tell everybody this, and I hope you don't mind, but I sent you a bunch of beers.
You did.
I did, because we're both gluten intolerant. You more serious than I. And I have to apologize because I was actually excited when I found out that you had a gluten allergy, or more severe than a gluten allergy, because I was like, finally, someone with. I was like, yeah. You're like, whoa, dude.
Well, the funny thing is, the girl I'm dating right now is celiac. That's not funny.
No.
Haha. But we were doing this like weird virtual date thing that you do in COVID, right? Like you don't actually meet people in person. And she's like, yeah, I'm celiac, I'm gluten free. I was like, woo! We could cook together, we could eat together. All the fights that would come if you weren't. Oh, damn. Like, awesome.
Did you cross-contaminate my so-and-so? Yeah. So I just have a severe gluten allergy. And when I first got, I'm going to throw this out there, diagnosed. Is that the right term? When I first found out I had a gluten allergy, I kind of was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean? And it was like before it was like a trend. And that annoyed me because like I was kind of before the whole gluten trend. And then like the gluten thing became kind of like, it's bad to call it a trend, but like.
It was.
Yeah. And so it was like, can you have a gluten-free menu? You go to a restaurant, right? And you're like, hey, dude, you have a gluten-free menu? Gluten-free menu? What's that? People call you out. It's like, dude, shut up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. I'll just get the white rice and...
broccoli. Steamed broccoli, please.
Yeah. And that's funny, too, because people who don't know, like, still to this day, I'll go somewhere and be like, I'm a little more comfortable about it now because, like, it's more, like, widespread, right? And you can go places and they have, gluten-free menus. We can go to completely dedicated gluten-free, like, restaurants, breweries. Like, all the beers we're going to be drinking today on the podcast. So, I sent you some gluten-free beers that you can enjoy on this podcast. But nowadays, it's kind of like, yo, you got a gluten-free menu, and usually they do. And, so I was not excited that you have gluten issues, but...
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
And so everybody that's watching knows that I'm not an asshole.
You're not?
Well, the jury's still out on that, but at least let everybody know that I did mail a package of
Yes.
Minnesota-made ciders and seltzers from this company called Bauhaus. And it's house like house, the German
House.
way of spelling it. So you should be getting these Bolo tall boys. I hope soon enough, because, well,
So let's talk about that. So I was like, hey man, I'm gonna send you some beers because I learned you had gluten or a gluten issue. I have gluten allergies. I'm like, dude, I got all these good beers, and you're like, dude, I haven't had a beer in a long time, and I was like, well, I'm gonna send you some beers. So me fully knowing it's illegal to ship alcohol, I just went to like UPS and I told them I was shipping you candles, and then you got beer.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
But you had the same issue I did, right, with trying to ship alcohol.
Yeah, but I was honest, and they took the package and said sorry.
So I used to ship beer to people all the time. I guess I figured it out. I did more research. If it's because I used to do a lot of beer trading, and I was in Northern California, and I would do a lot of beer trading with people in Southern California. So I guess it's less of an issue if it's interstate, or like it's like California to California address. I guess it becomes an issue if you're shipping out of state, is what I read anyway. It's because all the states want their like tax revenue from the alcohol and shit that's being sold, which doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. That's what I figured out what it was. So I lied.
So you smuggled some beer to Minnesota.
Dude, I did some research. I did some sleuthing, and I found out that if you try to go through the United States Post Office, that's an actual crime, right? If you go to UPS or FedEx, that's a policy violation.
Nice.
So, candles, dude. I just shipped you a bunch of. All of this is allegedly, by the way. I never did anything. I just.
Yeah.
I sent you.
Right, totally.
Sent you candles. Oh.
Badass. Well, no one wants to hear about us being whiny with our diets. I mean,
I think
the last thing
everybody
we want
wants
to
to
do
hear
is
about that.
go do a car show with me and be like, Aaron, can you eat this?
Dude,
No,
let me.
But
If me and you met at a car show, would we actually talk about cars the whole time? That's the irony of it, right?
no, we wouldn't talk about cars at all.
That's the irony
Not
about
at
it.
all.
I was at Cars and Coffee last weekend. We had a Cars and Coffee. My buddy Travis. Shout out Travis. We'll go around and like talk shit about the cars that we don't like because that's what everybody does, right? We'll go to the car and
Yep.
for sure, you know.
We're
All
gonna
in
paint on that.
all in good fun. But we'll walk around and like talk shit. And then like talk about everything else that does not have to do with cars. And I feel like if we met at a car show, you'd be like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, this is cool." And then we would just like talk about everything but cars.
Yeah. If we were single, we'd be talking about girls at the show,
Hell, look at that.
like all us lazy car guys do. I mean, let's be honest. It's just
Yeah.
the classy ones keep it under their breath.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Like, hey, she showed up in a Mark III VR over there, blonde, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, should I go talk to her?
Is
Should I go
it-
be awkward?
Go get her, Aaron. I'll wingman for you, dude. What do you want me to say?
Not anymore.
But that's funny, dude. Because like that's totally something that happen. We go to car shows and like don't talk about cars. Only the nerdy Volkswagen guys go to Volkswagen car shows and talk about Volkswagens at the car show. Speaking of, have you been to any car shows this year? At all? No.
No, I went out to Philly and helped Jamie with a project that he was doing. That was very fun. That was long hours, late nights, and it got done in time, so that was fun. But that wasn't a car show. That was just going to Jamie's shop and welding a bunch of stuff. And gosh, I got to see Joe from Black Forest Industries. I saw
Nice. Shout
Matt
out,
from
Joe.
Eurocraft.
Shut up, man.
Kind of saw the homies, but that's certainly not a show. That's a pretty weak excuse of a show. Although, I will argue that going to his shop is
It's like
a
going,
show
yeah,
in itself.
right, exactly.
right?
I was gonna say that. It's like this dude's got like every rare Volkswagen that you want at a show in a shop.
Yeah. And then your suitcase is full of parts when you go back home. Unexpectedly. You can never leave there without buying, a ton of stuff.
I can only imagine. If only I lived on the right coast. Literally, the right
You can
coast.
solve that problem.
I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Like, I haven't really been to any car shows this year, but this is why. COVID last year kind of shut everything down, right? Wife and I, family plans, things like that. Things get canceled. So, as everything opened back up this summer, we already had kind of like holdover plans. So we're like doing all that stuff, which fills up my whole summer. And it's like, man, I can't really travel and go to car shows. So that's what's kind of screwing me up. Not complaining. But next year, I plan on doing like some serious traveling. Like fly out to a car show on the East Coast, chill for the weekend, fly back. Like every single one of them. At least I'm going to try to anyway. Same thing with, like, I told you to get me some dates for coming out to visit you, because I want to come out and see the build come together prior to it going to SEMA. So
Things are moving well, but that's like the sole reason for all of my anxiety in my life right now. It's meeting this deadline, and so that's a moving target.
Well, you're building
So probably,
you're building a show car, a literally bolt by bolt, piece by piece show car. No expenses spared.
that's the scary thing. Don't ever pay attention to how much money you spend on a car.
You can't.
You're literally not going to be able to sleep at night.
Let's kind of get into that. So last time I had you on, we talked about the Mark I build and kind of what you were doing. Where are you at now in this stage? Because you don't have much time. I don't want to be the... I only got a couple months here, dude.
Need to remind me. All right, so the body shop's killing it. All the body work is done. The car's in a sealer. The underside has been painted. The inside of the car has been painted. They're touching up a few things in the engine bay. They'll paint the bay, they'll do the jams, and then they'll hang all of the panels and shoot it. So really, a week or two we'll be back. Everything is coming in right now. So the head just got done being hand polished. That's done. That's back at Colin with Tectonics. So that's over in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
The engine's being worked on right now.
Sure. Do you need me to drive that out to you? I'll just throw it in my Raptor and just drive that out to you.
Yeah, dude. If you seriously, if that's what you want to visit, is delivering my engine, I will pay for your gas to get out, because that's the same as shipping, and I know it won't get scratched this way. It's 24 hours straight through, man. Let me negotiate with you right now. I'll have a fridge full of gluten-free beer and pizza for you.
Sick. I'll do that 48-hour round trip for beer and pizza.
And gas money. Let's be fair.
Dude, it's a Raptor. It gets 10 miles a gallon. I'm just gonna warn you. Gas bill's gonna be a little hefty.
An EcoBoost Raptor or
no, Gen 1
OG?
V8. Yeah.
Those are the best ones.
I absolutely love that truck.
You never post any of that stuff though. All I see is your wife's dope ass Jetta.
Oh, that thing was cool. So thank you, Colin, for the coupe. That whole situation kind of worked out awesome. I was actually trying to buy a Mark IV R32. Literally, I was like a couple of days from pulling the trigger on a Mark IV R32, and Colin hits me up and he's like, "Yo, you said if you wanted the Jetta to hit you up, well, I'm thinking of getting rid of it." And I was like, "Let me know how much you want, man. I'll come grab it." But
Yeah.
so that thing's awesome. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it. I was kind of messing around with swapping some different wheel sets on it and stuff. But that is the wifey's car. and she's like obsessed with it already. Yeah, so that's her thing. I'll make sure it's run good and got some cool wheels on it. I really hope she doesn't curb those wheels, man. Those RTs. I really hope she doesn't curb those wheels.
You
Trista,
know, you
please
could
don't
put some
curb
curb
those wheels.
feelers on it.
Huh?
You should get some of those lowrider curb feelers. I'm like dead serious.
That actually would look sick.
Yeah.
I might do
totally into that.
that. I'm just going to coach her a little bit. So it's on 16s. I bought it on the 15-inch RSs, and Colin had it slammed. Yes, Colin, it was low. It was low static. It fucking scraped on, like, crowns in the road. It was low. Wife drove it a couple days. It just wasn't enjoyable for her to drive it that low. You know what I mean? And for what I paid Colin for it, I don't really want my wife, who's not used to driving a car that's that low. You know what I mean? And, like, chance something breaks, something happens. Like, why? Right? Why spend a bunch of money on a car and just, like, trash it for scene points? Like, oh, I'm low. Especially if my wife's driving it. So I figured throw some 16s on it. I raised it maybe a ½ inch in the front, 3/4 of an inch in the rear, just to clear so the fenders weren't completely sitting on the tires. And it doesn't scrape as much. So I think we should be good.
How's the fender rub? Do you have bacon fenders yet?
The car came with a little bit of bacon fenders, so that's already there.
Extra crispy, I hope.
Yeah, no, just slightly crispy. A little soggy bacon fenders. Not crispy yet. But everything, I drove it around. I kind of drove it around. So I had to grind the caliper carriers. It's got GTI brakes on it, Mark 1 GTI brakes. And you know, those caliper carriers are fucking like, they just stick way out. Well, those RTs I've had on like 3 different cars with 3 different sets of brakes and never had an issue with clearance. The RTs don't clear without spacers. Didn't really want to run spacers because then the fitment's like not flush like how I want it. So I grinded just a little bit off the carriers, and the back of the wheel is still hitting in one spot, like barely. You can like turn it and be like, it just gets in one spot. So I ordered like 2mm spacers or 3mm spacers just to get it off of the caliper so nothing's touching, and then we'll be good. Even though I'll know like it's still 2mm out further than I really wanted it. But
minus 2 team points, that's all.
Yeah, so I don't really post the Raptor because I just think of it as like a truck, dude. You know, it's just like the truck. Very utility. I do dump runs in it. I move shit with it. I actually drive the Eurovan. That's my daily. I drive it every day. In the morning for coffee, picking my son up from summer camp, doing all the errands, grocery runs. It's all the Eurovan, dude. I absolutely fucking love that thing. Marty.
Nice.
I love it, man.
Marty.
Marty the Eurovan. My son named him Marty. So, I don't know.
It's beautiful.
I don't want to clout chase for a Raptor. You know?
We should probably put it on the record that, like, 4 days before you bought that Jetta for your wife, I was driving up to pick a truckload of chrome stuff for my car. It's like an hour north. And you're like, what do I do?
I broke you down the whole scenario, right? I broke you down the whole scenario.
Yeah, you're like, I got 2 R32s that, you know, one's a piece of crap, one's actually really nice.
Yep.
And then I got this brown car. I'm like, ooh, God, I don't know. Like, what do you want to build? Like, yeah, don't trade the G60 for those wheels. That seems like a bad deal.
You're like my Volkswagen therapist. I'm like, Aaron, dude, what do I do, man?
And then, like a true therapist, I find out you didn't take any of my fucking advice on the internet.
But I got a curveball. The Jetta showed up. That's so funny, dude. I literally talked to you 2 days before everything went down.
And don't forget, everyone, Ryan hates Jettas. Oh, he buys his wife a Jetta.
It's the anti-Jetta. It's a coupe, and it has a Euro Rabbit front end. So it's not really a Jetta. I don't know. But
it's not a Jetta. Don't call it a Jetta.
No, I'm not gonna. No, dude. If I were to own any Jetta, it would be a Mark 1 coupe with a Rabbit front end on it, right? That just,
Cool.
you know, not to say I don't like the, like the Jetta fronts. I love the Euro Mark One Jetta bumpers and stuff, headlights,
Yep.
all that stuff. It's rad. But like, it's just the fact that it had the rabbit front end on it was like, oh, I kind of have to get it because that's like the anti-Jetta for me. It's like a Jetta, but it's not really a Jetta. So I don't
It's
know.
a dope car.
It is. It hauls ass. I think it's got like a Mark III 1.9 TDI in it. I got to do some more digging in there. Hauls ass, dude. It's a super solid car. So thank you, Colin, for selling that to me. Sorry, Chad, that I didn't buy the Mark IV R32 from you. And sorry, other guy, I forgot your name. I also didn't buy your Mark IV R32. And then,
Awesome.
yeah, so I was talking to you. I had Chad Yost. He's up in Washington. He has a very clean bagged Mark IV R32. I think it's still for sale, so if anybody's out there wanting it, I think Chad still wants to sell it. He was asking a fair price for it. Needed only a couple small things, but it was a clean car. And he was asking a fair price for it, and we were working a deal. Then while that was going on, this really clapped out Mark IV R32 popped up on Facebook Marketplace. The most clapped Mark IV R32 I've ever seen. Mismatched fender colors, like the interior's absolutely trashed. I've never seen a Mark IV R32 with the worst interior. Like everything was just wrecked, right? And the dude was asking like $8,500 for it. And I started thinking, I was like, man, I could spend twice that and get this really clean bagged Mark IV R32 and just be done, fix the little things that are wrong with it, and have my old car back, right? Because that's the car that I missed, my old Mark IV R32 that I bagged. So I'm thinking that, and then this clapped R32 shows up. I'm like, wait, this would be fun. I could do like a YouTube thing on the YouTube channel and like do a Captain Save-A-Ho on this Mark IV R32 and like try to like bring it back to its former glory, right? Because it's just a clapped car, and I thought I would have fun doing that. And so I was juggling those two. And then I also have the Brown Rabbit, right? And I want to do stuff to that. Yeah. And this G60 motor popped up, and I'm like, Aaron, G60 swaps and Mark 1s. What do you think? So I had those three options. Got your advice. Didn't take any of it because I got thrown a curveball, which was the Jetta, dude. It was a Jetta coupe. So I was like, I'll just go with D.
Happy wife, happy life. It's smart man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was like, I buy a Mark 1 Jetta coupe and I go, this is for you, babe. This is your car. Which, honestly, she's going to drive it more than I do. I'll take care of it. I'll maintain it. Make sure it doesn't get wrecked or anything. But that's literally her car. Like, she's claimed it. Like, it's her car. So, and that's cool too, because we used to do stuff together, me and my wife. We were both in car clubs, and she had, like, when I had a Mark IV R32, she had a Mark IV GLI. When I had a Mark III Jetta, she had a Mark III Cabrio. So we always had, like, Volkswagens together. And then she kind of fell out of the car thing, She just didn't really care about it anymore. And she's actually been wanting, her first car in high school was a E21 3 Series.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. And so she's been wanting one, and I'm like, we're not going to fucking find one of those, dude. Like, And then, like, Colin hit me up about the Jetta, and I was like, whoa. This will kind of, like, scratch that itch for her as far as, like, wanting her old high school car back, but it's still a Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of killed, like, 3 birds with 1 stone. I got a cool car, which is her car. It got her back into an old school car, and it also got her back into Volkswagens. So.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I should really do some digging and try and find my old E21 and see if I can't find, like, the sales progression of where it's at now, because
you might be depressed.
Thing was awesome.
Someone might have trashed it.
It was a garage find around the block from me. Nice. Literally in this guy's garage, covered in blankets, next to his E46, like 325 or whatever, like just grandma car. And I just randomly knocked on his door, and he's like, "Yeah, I was actually thinking about selling this thing. Get it out of here. $1,500.
$1,500.
And you have to take all the parts." And I'm like,
"What year was this?"
Huh?
What year was this?
oh gosh, it was like 6 years ago.
Oh shit.
And it was a black 80 or 80
Nice.
80 or 81
Mm-hmm.
323. So it had the 6-cylinder,
Mm-hmm.
had the Euro Recaros, had the sports steering wheel, had I put a set of 15-inch E76s on it. So the thing was fucking dope. Had Euro bumpers on it, and I was like in the middle of owning my Scirocco for the second time, working on the
We talked about
I'm
that.
still working on. Oh, don't forget I had the rally golf that I had to maintain. I was just like, get rid of this thing.
Is that thing fixed yet?
No. No, actually, I saw
No.
someone post a turbo bagged R32 on 19-inch LMs for sale for 32 grand on Instagram today, and I'm like, ooh. Let me message you and see 10 grand.
Whose car was
The
that?
R32 and those LMs, and I'll give you my rally golf.
No.
Then I came to my senses. I'm like,
No.
I'm not gonna do that.
No, don't
No
do
way.
that, dude. Don't get rid of the rally golf. If you ever go to get rid of the rally golf, the first person you should call is me, and then I'll sell all my worldly possessions, including the Raptor, and just. But you have to fix the tranny first.
That's next on the list. That's this winter. I've already come up with the game plan. The Rabbit's going to be done. We're going to do the whole SEMA shebang. Like, woo!
Woo!
The car will be done. Like, I'll be able to tuck it away in the corner this winter. Not really. And then I'll get to work on everything else. But hopefully, I'll have the Rally Golf running this spring. I'll have the Rabbit running this spring, and I will drive the Rabbit after the shows.
The Rabbit's gonna be running for SEMA, dude. You need to take it in the spring.
Yeah, I'm not gonna drive it.
It's not a SEMA build. It's a SEMA build. It's a dope SEMA build. I'm just messing with you. I hope I can travel out and see that thing as it's coming together. Even get my hands dirty, dude.
Yeah.
Turn some bolts and loosen things and like make your life a little bit more stressful.
I got rubber gloves for you, so we'll be good.
Nice. Yeah, I just want to come and hang out and like put gloves on and then just drink beers and point and be like, that's not good.
So I'm not saying you're going to be this guy, but do you remember the Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage remake, not the original one that's way better?
Yeah, of course. Everyone remembers that one.
So do you remember when Nicolas Cage, this is just showing my nerdiness, do you remember when like Nicolas Cage is interviewing his little brother's crew, and they go through like everyone's skill set, and then there's the one guy that's left, he's like, yeah, my name is like Joe or something. Yeah, I order a hell of a good pizza. Like, yeah, I get pizza for everybody.
That's me, dude, the Stoke Man. Everyone needs...
We need to find that person.
Everyone needs a good Stoke Man, dude. That's me. I'll be like, yeah, dude. Aaron, this is going so rad. I got some pizzas and some gluten-free beers.
No, I'm not saying that's you, but we need to find that person. That's like a vital role.
No, I want to be that person. Literally, I'll fulfill that role. Yeah, and I can kind of do stuff.
6:31 p.m. Central Time, July 15th. Ryan says he wants to be the Pizza Stoke guy.
Yes, that's me. I've got a cooler next to my podcast station where I got all my beers.
Nice.
I'm going for number 2. Beardly. It's a Vienna lager. Beardly.
Nice.
Yeah. Also gluten-free, of course. But according to the Surgeon General, it may cause health problems. So.
Yeah, that's good to know. So.
What are you on? What are you drinking? Hold on. What are you drinking right now?
This is the Inclusion Dry Hopped Pale Ale.
Ooh, that's a good one, dude. Groundbreaker.
It's pretty good.
Right? Yeah, that's a good one.
Crafted in a dedicated gluten-free brewery.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's doing its job. You kind of mumbled that one.
Oh yeah. Come on. I can't read.
No, that's a great beer. I want you to drink that. So we're wearing party shirts, and one of the beers that I sent you, the name of the beer is "This Is My Party Shirt." Do you have that beer? Or did you already drank it?
It's in the garage. No, I didn't drink it. It's in the garage.
You have to try that one. That one's good. It's like a hibiscus and lime ale or lager or something. It's really good.
Nice. Well, I'll put this shirt on, and I will turn on Flock of Seagulls, and I'll just jam out to some 80s. And I'll drink it, and I'll think of you.
I should have put that song on one of my programmed keys here. That would be great. Just to have it on loop in the background this whole podcast. Flock of Seagulls. And I ran so far away. That's the only song from them that I have ever known. And I think that's the only song that they've ever made. You can't convince me otherwise.
I need to share some deep cuts with you.
Maybe some Flock of Seagull deep cuts. I'll get into that.
Yeah.
Because I know nothing but that
B-sides.
song. The B-sides?
We're going to go into the vault.
I'm serious. I've never heard another song from the Flock of Seagulls other than I Ran. And honestly, I only got into that song because of Grand Theft Auto.
I was about to ask you that. What video game?
It was Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 3 or 4. One of those. It was like a Miami-themed Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Super rad, though. Awesome track. I should probably play it here somehow. I don't want to waste any time figuring that out. But no, you should try that beer. So we got our party shirts on because we're celebrating not having a podcast agenda or whatever. So let's talk about, like, there's a lot of shit going on, and, like, that's the bummer thing for me, too, is, like, I started this podcast in the spring, and I haven't been in any car shows. But I've been keeping track of, like, all the shit that's going on. Obviously, you're building a SEMA Mark 1. We got all these rad shows that are happening. So have you paid attention to any coverage? I feel like the car show coverage has been kind of weird this year, though. No?
My Instagram feed's kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
half,
mine
like,
too.
Germany, half Mark 1 stuff. So, I mean, Madness looked fun. I've never been to Madness.
Dude, what was that?
I'm excited to attend, but I'm also terrified that I'm going to be the guy that shows up and doesn't want to drive my car on a gravel road.
Oh, you can't go to Madness and be that guy. You're going to get shunned out of
Yeah,
Madness.
so I think I'll just politely decline.
No, I don't think they'll care.
Go.
I don't think they care. You should, how do we do this and make it dope? We can sneak it in there somehow. Somehow. You know what you got to do? You got to get a Doka. You got to convert it to a car hauler. Then you got to put the rabbit on the Doka that's bagged, and then just drive the Doka in.
You know,
put a rooftop
Jamie
tent.
already did that.
Put a rooftop tent. Well, you got it. Well, then just borrow his.
Well, no, he did it with one of the transporters. So he had like the two-door transporter with the beaver tail, and when he launched his Polo, his 3L with the polished hood, H2O like 2016, 2017, it was dope. He had the Polo on the back of that beaver tail, and it went like
sick.
45 miles an hour. That would be a nightmare, but damn was it cool.
Well, you got to do something similar then to get you into Madness, or just drive it.
Yeah, well, something with like a 5-cylinder turbo.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. Like you do like an RS3 powered
Brown Mark 1.
Yeah, Brown Mark
Dude,
1. Yes.
move to Oregon for like 2 months and help me build in the wintertime and help me build an RS3 Mark 1, and then we'll just take that to Madness. It's already a piece of shit.
Do it.
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about driving on gravel roads.
We got all-wheel drive swap.
Might as well. It's like, yeah, let's just build an all-wheel drive RS3 powered Mark 1. Just like, that's fine.
Yeah. That'd be so fun.
That thing would be beyond dangerous in that brown rabbit.
I think so.
So, new news with myself. I picked up a Mark II VR today.
Please tell me it wasn't a Jetta.
Nope, definitely wasn't a Jetta.
It was not a Jetta. Okay, cool.
It was my old Mark II VR that I had sold and then bought it back.
Okay.
Yeah, the white one. You remember that one?
I do not know that one. Tell us some deets.
Well, I posted it on my Instagram. it's still kind of a weird situation. Technically, I haven't bought it back yet, but it's in my possession. But someone else bought it and then decided they may not want it. And so I might just kind of swoop in and end up with it.
So it's like Facebook status, it's complicated.
It's complicated. I just don't have room for anything. And I was thinking about selling the brown car. I posted on Instagram. I was like, brown car's up for sale if anybody's interested. Got some, people interested. And then, like, seriously, I was messing around with it in the garage this afternoon. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I fucking love this car. I don't know if I can sell this car. I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know why. I'm like...
Mark IIs are so much nicer than Mark I's, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a ride or die Mark I guy. But man, do I love my Mark II that much more.
Well, yours is a rally Golf, so that's no fair. But I also love that Mark II, which is why it's kind of in my possession right now. Because I'm like, it's actually a awesome story on how everything worked out. I'll get with you after the podcast because some things can't be leaked right now. But yeah, so it's sitting in my driveway, and it's probably going to be mine. I'm probably going to end up with it. There's a 90% chance I'll end up with it. And I was like, well, I don't have space for all the stuff, which sucks. So I'm going to sell the brown car. And then I was like messing around with the brown car in the garage, and I was like, dude, I just love this car too much. Like, I don't know if I can sell it. Like, I love it more than the Mark II, but I shouldn't. And I don't know why that is. Because it's literally the shittiest Mark I I've ever owned.
Yeah, but you'll have matching white Volkswagens with your wife then.
Exactly. And Marty.
Yeah, and Marty.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
don't tell Greg.
You gotta go all white.
Don't tell Greg Zorn. He hates white Volkswagens. He says they're all cursed.
Yeah, don't tell me that then.
Don't build a SEMA Mark I and paint it white.
Too late.
So back to the Mark I. We kind of like skipped over that. I'm sorry, but this is how this podcast is gonna go. There's just no agenda.
What do you want to know?
It's be all over the place. You have a pile of parts behind you.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I've got a gigantic pile of parts in my office. And it's like this ever-rotating pile of parts. Like, they'll start off in my office, and then I'll get tired of stepping over them, and they'll migrate out to my garage.
So,
and,
the car gets back from the body shop 2 weeks, you said, right? A couple weeks?
Give or take.
A handful of weeks. Let's say a handful of weeks. Once you get that back, motor goes in, suspension.
So I'm going to wire up the dome light and anything that needs to be run before upholstery.
Interior goes in, okay.
Yeah, well, no. I'm going to do the headliner so that I can put the glass in.
What color is the headliner going to be? You can tell me that anything to be kept secret will be kept secret, and I'll honor that. Just for this one episode.
It's going to be red. It's red perforated leather to match the dash, to match the seats. So Sick. It's going to be pretty dope.
Awesome.
So I'll get that back. I'll put the glass in. I'll start wiring the car.
Are you running any pop-outs or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got an NOS set of pop-outs I bought
Sick.
Like 10 years ago.
Dang.
Before they really got crazy expensive.
Dang. That's awesome.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're stupid expensive back then, but and it's cool. I got the chrome trim that goes around them.
Nice. Sick.
Yep, so you don't have like black seals and then chrome everything else on the car.
So when you do the hatch glass and the windshield glass, do you have the chrome trim for all of that as well to match?
Yep.
Sick. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. But I just got a sea of chrome.
Sea of chrome.
So you can't see this, but like here's here's like a new speed front sway bar.
That's very.
And I got a matching new speed sway bar for the rear that's chrome plated.
Sick.
It's kind of dope.
Yes, dude, chrome all the things. All right, so we were talking about the calipers. You're wondering what you're gonna do with the brake calipers. Did you figure that out yet?
Yeah, I was going to send them out to get plated, but the brake dust is just going to be too much of a nightmare. I'm just going to powder coat them.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be boring, just powder coat them.
Yeah, you're gonna powder coat them, but are they gonna be like a chrome powder coat?
No, they're gonna be gray to match the suspension. So there's just gonna be the sea of chrome and
Mm.
gray.
Okay.
It's gonna look, gotta class the place up a little bit.
All right. Okay. You should come up with a logo and put like your logo on the caliper. That'd be cool. Maybe.
I ordered a badge from this company called Billet Badges,
Nice.
and that's already done, and that's on its way.
Wow. I know you. I know you.
I'm so dumb.
That's cool though. That's like the first thing I thought. I was like, dude, you should put
So dumb.
a badge on it or like something, like your logo.
Yeah.
What's the?
Yeah, there are like no other badges on the car except like the front grill badge. So
All right.
gotta spice it up a little bit.
So dome light gets wired up for you. The headliner. Then what? You move on to the motor. Then the suspension's already pretty much done, right? Isn't the air already in the car?
Suspension is done. Air is all set up.
You don't have like control arms that you need to swap out or anything like that. That's all is as it is.
There's nothing on it. Everything's back at my house. Everything's powder coated. Everything's plated. Everything's put back together. So car gets done at the shop. I'll put it on the lift at the shop. I'll put the gas tank in, run the gas lines. I'll put the rear beam in, and then put the suspension back on, put it on wheels, roll it on a trailer, bring it to the upholstery shop, get the headliner in, bring it back to my house, do all the glass, and then dig in.
I'm getting anxiety just listening to you, dude.
And then
the logistics, man. All the logistics in building a show car.
I'm actually really just worried about the wiring. Like if that's the thing that I'm having a heart attack about, it's technology.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That's.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna order this. So there's this Honda guy called Rywire. Rywire makes these. They're called PDMs. It's a power control module, a power distribution module. And so instead of a traditional fuse block having all your relays and regular fuses, this is a solid state programmable unit that controls all of the power in your car.
Technology.
So I have to plug a computer into my fuse block to program it for everything.
Wow.
So let's just overcomplicate things. Now it's going to be dope. It's going to be way simpler to wire. It's just the programming that kind of.
Well, once you get the programming down, though, you'll just be a guru at it, and that'll make things like way easier. Does it tell you?
Yeah.
Like, does the programmer will it tell you like this fuse is blown? And shit like that.
So you can actually program how many faults it would have before the.
Dude, that's sick.
The circuit breaker blows because it's not a fuse; it's a solid.
That's
state.
right. That's right. That's right.
So it protects itself. So you could say, there's a theory called inrush current. So let's say you have your fans turn on, and the normal working load of that fan is 15 amps. You wouldn't put a 15 amp fuse on that. You'd put a 20 or 25 amp fuse because if there's this inrush current, which it could be 40, 60 amps to get the engine going or the motor going, it'd blow the fuse. Yeah. Now, that's such an insignificant amount of time. It's like a millisecond or two that actually exists. This program or this PDM actually ignores that, and so you can fuse things down or gauge the wire down. Wow. A little lighter harness, a simpler harness, and then you can program, if there's an open fault or something, how many times will it reset itself before it goes into limp mode or whatever you want to call it, where you actually have to go in and do some diagnostic work on where the physical fault is.
That's fucking sick, man.
That's awesome. Super dope.
Yeah, it's super dope. I think you're gonna have a lot of time setting that thing up. Does it have it's probably got its own controller, right? That with like a port you plug it into, or how does that work?
It's got a program that you just download onto a laptop. Yep.
Sick.
And so I'm sure the company's gonna be able to help me. Like I'm sure if I call them and be like, look, I'm completely lost. I'll get a hold of Matt at Eurocraft. Matt, seriously, I'm still gonna negotiate with you and get you to come.
Shout out, Matt.
Yeah, I need your help.
We need
But
your help,
I
Matt.
think,
Dude, that dude's killing
I'll
it.
still blindly walk through and wire the car.
Do you see Johnny's Grummond?
That thing is dope.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, he
Oh
did
my
a great job. He
god,
was
dude.
sending me videos of that along the way, and that's awesome.
Such a sick build.
Matt was, yeah.
That's
I like those wheels too.
I
3-piece
Dude,
intros, those are dope.
it's totally Johnny style, for sure. It goes with the whole theme of the build, 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose those wheels for my build, but they 100% work on the overall theme of that Grumman, for sure.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that thing is so sick, though. Oh, God, so sick. I want one.
So that build is new.
What?
That build is new.
Yep.
Kyle W's build just got debuted at Alpine
Volks
Fair.
Volks Fair.
Yep. That was cool. I'm trying to think of what other builds, big builds are going on. Forrest's Mark 1 truck, that sort of debuted at Volks Fair as well.
Man, I'm horrible about paying attention to that shit. I think it's just because I'm attracted to all, like, just clapped pieces of shit.
Do we need to reinstate the little rat on the toilet sticker?
No.
And put a fuck yeah above it?
Yeah, no, we just need to have a fuck yeah clapped out sticker.
You should sponsor the Low Show, and you should sponsor.
Dude, let's talk about that. There's like a lot of shit going on in the scene right now, which is exciting. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this. I'm gonna say it anyway because that's just who I am. I sponsored a show today. Yeah.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Give me the deets.
I'm gonna give you the deets. Bag Fair. Corey hit me up, DMs, and actually this is crazy because I was like, man, I'm horrible about like building my brand, and like I'm just like, I don't know. I took over an IG page because like I was like wanting to be involved in like I want to like for me it's like I feature cars and I send people stickers. Right, I send people those fuck yeah Volkswagen stickers, and it's like if I'm gonna feature your car, I'm gonna do something in return to show the appreciation because like the cars that I feature, like I'm a fan of. So being a fan of the things that I put on the Instagram page, and they're like all over the place, right? I have show cars, I have like beaters, I have, which I love. I have like a whole wide range of cars that we feature on the Fuck Yeah Volkswagens Instagram page. But my whole thing was like I want to be a little bit different with the Instagram page. I want to like show appreciation back and not be the page who just steals pictures of the same car and just recycle that shit to like gain followers. That's not what how I really wanted to do it. I wanted to like do it like organically, grassroots. Like if I feature your car, I want to like send you stickers for the IG page to show you like appreciation that your car was up on my page. So I just kind of do that stuff, but I'm horrible about like building my brand, and like even with the podcasts that we're doing, it's like I just do it because it's fun. I have like no aspirations. Like it would be rad, like I'm not gonna lie, right? Like if I could like just like do a Volkswagen podcast as my career and be like, oh, this is my job, I just talk about Volkswagens all day, like who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly.
But I live on the planet Earth. But this is just like something fun for me. And like people are always like, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. And I'm like, man, like it's hard for me because like this is a fun thing that I do as like a hobby. And I'm completely obsessed with water-cooled Volkswagens, don't get me wrong. But there's like a lot of other things that I like to do too. I like to skate, I like to surf, I like to snowboard, I like to play the drums, I like to hang out with my kid, I like to hang out with my wife, I like to travel, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like I do all these things kind of at my leisure. Like today is a good day to podcast with Aaron because I love Aaron and I want to get like drunk off a gluten-free beer and talk to Aaron on this podcast. So that's what I'm doing today. But tomorrow I'm going to be surfing. And the day after that, I'm going to be in Boise or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
you need to build a team.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's
Teamwork makes the dream work, Ryan.
That's true. Well, you're technically a producer. You're a content producer. You just don't know that yet.
All right, sign me up. Let's go. I'm
But
going to start recruiting everybody.
I'm like horrible with that, like brand building, but it seems like cheesy to me. You know what I mean? It seems like kooky to me. Like I don't want it to like. I want everything for me. I want everything to feel authentic. I want it to feel like authentic. You know, I don't want anything to feel forced. I don't want anything to like be like over brandy and like, no, look at me, blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to do things because it's fun. And once it starts being fun, then I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, that's when your branding exercise is done right, when it actually is authentic and it's speaking to who you are. And everyone will read through the bullshit. Like, you won't exist if there's a bunch of that other stuff.
Dude, I don't know. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and a lot of those bullshit pages have like a lot of followers. Like, I'm like on Instagram and I'll look at some Volkswagen pages. I'm like, this motherfucker has like 30,000 followers on this page. Sucks. All they do is they take pictures from all these other like massive pages and recycle the shit, and they have 30,000 followers somehow. How does that work?
I don't know, but
and I'm over here in my fucking 100-degree garage fucking cutting stickers to send to Germany and Austria and Italy and Japan on my own dime. I'm like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But whatever, dude. That's what I want to do. It's fun for me. I like the amount of joy I get when I send someone some stickers and they like DM me back and they're like, I got the stickers. I usually share it, on the stories or whatever, on the Instagram page. But that is so awesome to me that someone like is that appreciative and they're like, dude, I got the stickers. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like that's so rad. And like that feeling alone is worth it. It's worth putting the time in. It's worth, And that's another thing too, is like I was not getting burnt out, but I was trying to pump out a lot of content with the podcast stuff really early. So I was like doing podcasts, doing all the post editing and stuff, and I was just like, dude, I was like, I have my normal career, which is a 60-hour a week gig, and then I was doing the podcasting stuff and the post editing. Dude, I was like, up at 6 a.m. and going to sleep at 1 a.m. doing all that shit. So once the weather started to crack and it's like, oh, do I want to do like all my outside activities that I, couldn't do during the winter or whatever, I just took a break from all the podcasting stuff and was like, I don't want to get burnt out, so I'm not going to have any rhyme or reason. It's like, I'll throw a podcast up when there's a podcast to throw up. And then that's just how it's going to be. And hopefully more of them can be like, I kind of have like a formula with the podcast. It's like, I want to have new guests on. And I really love the history. Like, I'm a history buff. Like, I love history. So, like, when it comes to people's personal history, that's very interesting to me as well. And when you tie that to Volkswagens, water-cooled Volkswagens, like, that's, like, super interesting to me, which is partly why I wanted to start the podcast to begin with, because I wanted to meet a bunch of cool people and, like, actually know their personal history, and that stuff. And so that's cool, and it's kind of set like a formula for all the podcasts. But what's cool about like talking to you now is like it's like a break from that, right? I'm just kind of like, oh, we're just gonna fucking hang out and drink beers and wear party shirts and not have like an agenda for the podcast. But I still think people will be stoked to just listen to us bullshit.
I think so. I would love to see more. Bring in some of the cars. Like, how can you get people set up next to their cars and do walkthroughs and share some of that? Because, the forums are gone. Instagram is Instagram. Mm-hmm. How do you have, longer than a 15-second reel to give us like a little, stop teasing us. Like, give us a little bit of the juice.
Yeah. I want to do more stuff like that for sure. And that's like, I have this little notepad that's like, ideas for YouTube channel or ideas for whatever, And a lot of that's in there, but again, like I don't want it to feel cheesy. So like one of the things is like when we were talking and I was like, dude, I totally want to come out September sometime or whatever you were saying, fly out, chill with you for a weekend and like film the whole thing as like a vlog or whatever. Maybe not like you know it'd be funny, dude, if I like went out, filmed the whole thing and like blurred the car out in every shot so you couldn't see the actual car.
You're gonna have to sign an NDA.
That would be gangster. But I want to do stuff like that, and I think I'm gonna start transitioning into more stuff like that, especially like next show season when it's not this post-COVID lull or whatever you want to call it. Because I just had too many plans from last year that didn't happen that transferred to this year. So hopefully next year I can do the whole show circuit thing and just kind of like maybe vlog it or do like a, I don't know, road going podcast or something. I don't know. It'll just kind of go where it goes. And like maybe people will see more of my personality that way. Like I'm just spontaneous. Like it'll just be random shit. I'll try to make it cool, but it'll just be random cool shit.
That's awesome.
That's it.
So if you come out and blur the car, my only ask is that you have to put tow mater from Cars over it every single time.
Put what?
The tow truck from Cars, tow mater or whatever its name is.
Yeah.
With the big buck teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just got to be over the car every single time.
I don't know what you mean by. Oh, I gotcha. Like we'll put that in instead of blurring it out.
Yeah, yep.
I thought it would be funny to blur it out, like it's like a dick. Or it's like porn or something. It's like, no, you can't see that. It's blurry. But I could try to do that.
You're leaning against the car like this.
Dude, you're just making me work more in post with that request. I'm going to be like sitting here like, how the fuck do I put tow mater over his Mark 1? All right. I will do that, though. But I think Fuck Yeah Volkswagen sponsored Bag Fair. I want to try to make it out to that. Corey, thanks for hitting me up. Corey hit me up. I'm going to try to have him on the podcast. Just to promote the show and go over a lot of his Volkswagen histories. He's got a sick Mark III.
He just bought a new one.
Yeah.
He just bought Carl Taylor's at Rotiform Challenge Cabrio.
Yes, sir. Dude's dope. Dude's got a lot of cool shit. His Instagram's fucking fire. But, yeah, man, thank you. But he hit me up and was like, hey, how do we get you to sponsor the car show? I was like, fucking, let's do it. And what's funny is, like, I was thinking about that, too. And this goes back to, like, the brand building thing that I'm horrible about. I was, like, thinking to myself, like, man, I need to get in and, like, maybe get the logo on some car shows or in front of some people because, like, the grassroots organic approach I'm taking, like, it's working, but it's a slow burn. And I don't have a goal. Like, actually, I'm lying. My goal was to get the Instagram page up to, like, 10,000 followers by the end of 2021. Is that what you were in? Just as a fictitious goal. There's like nothing behind it. It was just like, man, if I could grow this thing with like not promoting it other than like featuring cars, tagging people, sending stickers, and doing it like that true honest way and not like, promoting posts and like doing all this gross stuff. I thought that would have been awesome. And then like, I think I would have enough of following to kind of like push the podcast more, to grow the YouTube page, to then be able to like, do more stuff there. Like if I make anything, like this is all just fun for me. If I make anything or any money off of anything, it just goes back into, the content, so to speak. It just be like, or like what I really want to do is like create merch or like do giveaways or stuff like that. It would be rad to like give air ride away or do something,
Now that you're sponsoring a show, you gotta have those t-shirts.
Dude. I think we're going to get the logo on the t-shirt for Bag Fair.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'd be rad. It'd be rad, dude, if I just gave away my brown Mark 1. and it'll have like a contract clause. It's like you can never sell this car. You can only give it to another person, and just follow the history of this brown Mark One, just like shifting ownership.
The car that gives.
Yeah, dude.
So
Did you see the Hot Wheel that my buddy Griffin did?
no.
Oh no, Nike took a bail. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's got the roof rack and the Steelies. How sick is
That's
that?
dope.
Yeah, dude. And then I got like posters made of it. It's a cool car, dude. It's really the mascot of FYEAH Volkswagens. And so, when I posted it for sale, I kind of regretted it because when I started messing with it, I don't know why I'm so attached to the car. I paid too much for it. It's just an absolute piece of shit. But I'm fucking insanely in love with it, and I don't know if I could get rid of it now.
Maybe you just don't like really finished vehicles.
Yeah.
Maybe you really do just like the shit boxes, like you said.
Dude, I do. I genuinely do. One of the reasons why I ended up deciding not to go after that clean Mark 4 R32 is like, I honestly didn't want to take care of a car. As bad as that sounds. And my wife is awesome about like keeping her shit clean, which is cool that she got the coupe because it's not the brown Mark 1. It's because she's gonna like want to wash it and want to keep it clean and want to detail it, whereas I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. I want to surf and drink beer and eat tacos.
So you need to sponsor the patina, like best patina or something like that.
Dude, that'd be rad. Yeah, like have a trophy and like do like a custom trophy for like best shitbox. Best shitbox, dude. That's best shitbox. That's like a conundrum in itself.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Best shitbox. Any show promoters out there that watch this, that want me to sponsor their shows, I want to do a best shitbox trophy. And then, I'll just have to go to the show and pick the best shitbox.
Mm-hmm. But not like the duct tape shitbox.
No,
like, not
no,
like the clapped out like no one cared.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like
It's a shitbox with purpose, right? Like it's that like juxtaposition of like shitbox but not a shitbox. Like you just
it's
know.
the rat styles.
Yeah, well, not really rat. You just know when you look at it if it's like a legit shitbox or like a shitbox. This whole conversation, only like 3 people on the planet are gonna understand. I think you're one of them.
That's fine. That's fine. I think what you do is, the shit boxes that someone put floors in, it's structurally sound. You're not going to kill someone driving down the road.
Yeah.
But it looks like you still pulled it out of the field.
Yeah, you pull it out of field, you threw some suspension on it, you've got millimeter perfect stance, you've got like the perfect wheels that fit that shit box, whatever it is. And it's just like, there's that fine line of, like quality shit box versus like absolute shit box. And I think you know what it is when you look at it. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain to people.
It's got a presence. It's got like an aura about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me. Like, I'm always really attracted to those cars. Like, any car show I go to, like, don't get me wrong, there'd be like big budget show cars there, and I appreciate those, but I'm always attracted to the shit boxes. I don't know why.
Well, they're approachable by anybody.
And I use that term in a good way, by the way. For the most part.
The rest of the world calls it patina.
Yeah. Well, there's a patina aspect to it, but not all shit boxes have patina. I don't know. I'll just know it I'll just know it when I see it. Like, I have to be there to be like, that is the best of the shit boxes.
Nice.
But that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just brand retarded, and sorry using that word. I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm just like, I don't know. You know? You know.
Mhm. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. I just killed beer number 2.
You're going way faster than me.
I was thirsty. It sucks to be thirsty and drink beer. Yeah.
Because then you're thirstier.
Well, yeah, I am
See, I've
thirstier.
also got party water here.
What's that? Oh, bubbly? I've got a Polar. It is a toasted coconut premium seltzer.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, man, we got to get you out, work on the car, get ready for the show. There's a bunch of distractions along the way, but I think we'll still be able to pull it off.
Give me some dates. I want to travel out for sure. I definitely want to just chill for a weekend. Fly in. Dude, even if I can get my hands dirty, I know on the podcast I like say a bunch of shit, but like I'll seriously help you if you need help. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll give you the dates. Everyone kind of tentatively knows September after the low show is when it's
let's
like
talk
all
about
hands
that.
on deck.
So Jamie just announced that. Jamie's been fucking crazy. So I just want to say thank you, Corey Sterling, for hitting me up about bag fair. But there's a bunch of shit going on. So Jamie, your homies with him, he just did the whole reveal for the Mark 8s, which is awesome. What do you think about the Mark 8s? Like styling wise, we won't get into the performance aspect about the cars, but like styling wise, how do you feel about the Mark 8s?
So let's go back to my reaction the first time I saw a Mark IV Jetta.
Okay. Well, it's a Jetta, so.
Well, we'll get to it, but when I saw a Mark IV for the first time in like late '99, it looked like a beached whale. I was like,
Wow.
Shamu just hit the land and is making turbo noises. Gross. And I was like, pre-93 only. Like, that was... Volkswagen didn't make anything after 93, in my opinion.
That was your reaction to a Mark IV?
I thought it was gross.
Dude.
Now, it's grown on me. Mark V was great. Mark VI was even better.
Mark V was great?
Yeah,
We're talking about
Mark
aesthetics. We're talking about aesthetics.
Yeah,
Mark V was great?
Mark VI was better. Mark 7. Mark 7's good. I like the back end of the Mark 7.
Yeah.
Mark 8. Mark 8's cool. I didn't have this visceral, gross reaction like when I saw Mark IV because the styling change hasn't been so drastic like it was between Mark III and Mark IV, right? And so it's just this evolution of like Transformers, Tron, video game where all the car manufacturers are going this way, right? It looks kind of homogenous to a Civic Type R and to all these other things, so it's predictable.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Yeah. Is it make me sad to say it's not blowing my mind? Yeah. I think Jamie did a good job with the BBS kit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
That one was sick.
I love the throwback.
Yeah, the throwback.
But it's like, yawn. I don't know if I'm gonna buy one. I'm desperately wanting to buy a new car, and
a new car as in new car,
like a new daily driver. And I'm sort of stuck between an RS3, a Spectrum R, or a Mark 8 GTI. And I'm kind of leaning. They're all kind of in the same price point except the GTI.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking the RS3.
RS3 would be nuts,
I'm
dude.
stuck on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all-wheel drive.
And it's a 5-cylinder.
And it's 5-cylinder. And they're just insane, batshit crazy. Or they can be batshit crazy. I have a counter opinion. So, I thought Mark IVs were dope when I first saw them. I still think Mark IVs... We're not... No Jettas here. We're not... There's no Jet. There's a couple of dudes who have built like Mark IV Jetta coupes that were kind of cool. We're gonna get rid of the Jetta. So, GTIs,
Thundercats.
R32s, 337s, 20ths. I was always a fan of the Mark IV body style. I was kind of a Mark III kid, so when the Mark IVs came around, I was like, oh, these things are fucking sick. Like, I thought they were legit, like, dope. I'm not talking about Jettas. I was never a fan of Mark IV Jettas. Mark Vs, I was like, no! That's kind of how I feel about the Mark 8s. Like, I'm like,
No.
oh, hold on. So, I like Mark Fives. I'll put it that way. But when they first came out, I thought they were like aesthetically. I was like, oh, these are gross. You know. And I don't know if that was just me being like such a Mark IV nerd that I was like not liking the new at the time. But I look at Mark Fives now, and I'm not completely sold on them still. Mark Sixes to me looked good aesthetically.
Yep.
Like Mark 6s to me looked good aesthetically. The Mark 6Rs looked good. The JSWs looked good. I like Mark 6s for sure. Mark 7s. I like the Mark 7s. I really do like Mark 7s. I had a Mark 7 GTI. Beautiful cars, in my opinion. The Mark 8s, they are homogenous to me. Like, I think you could throw any fucking car badge on it. Throw a Hyundai badge on it. It's a fucking Hyundai. That's kind of how I feel about them now, but I think they'll probably grow on me like the Mark Fives did, because the Mark Fives did kind of grow on me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great looking car, and the performance and everything that they've reported on it, sweet, sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like every other car.
Yeah, should we already start calling the the early Mark 8 adopters Mark 8 kids?
I don't know. Have they graduated high school yet?
Well, I mean, the Mark 8s aren't cheap, right? So you're already gonna have people with money who are buying them. So we'll see how that scene develops. Because the Mark 7 is cool, but the Mark 7 scene is not cool.
Really?
I don't think so. I think I'd like when I go, like, I'm sorry for anyone in the Mark 7s. I love Mark 7s. I do. But I'll go into, like, Facebook groups and stuff and, like, just see the same. It's like the Mark 4 shit all over again. You know? Like, hey, guys, what coilovers should I run? It's like, come on, people. You should be past this by now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm torn. Really. I've got a shitbox Mark V that's got 200 some thousand miles on it.
That's a race car, though, isn't it? No? Is that your daily?
No, I bought Jamie's like the $800 GTI. It's a candy white Mark V. I've got a bunch of race car stuff on it. I finally decided that car is getting parted out to put the race car back together. So that car is destined for the scrap pile in the sky here soon. But then that means I don't have a daily driver. The other vehicle I drive is a 3/4 ton Dodge Ram Cummins diesel.
Nice.
That I've got pre-runner fenders on. I've got Recaro seats in it. I love it.
You're a truck dude too.
But yeah, I built a Cummins Raptor.
Nice.
But that's got like 160,000 miles and it's a straight piped diesel. Like
160,000 miles is nothing for a diesel truck, dude. That's like brand new. I agree. It's brand new.
But I'm trying to preserve it. I live in Minnesota, so I've already done floors. I've done inner and outer rockers. I replaced all 4 doors. I did the fenders, so I've got all the AVS plastics.
I'm gonna convince you to move to Oregon.
Stuff.
You just gotta move to
Say
Oregon.
what?
Just move out west. You don't have to worry about all that.
Yeah.
It's all the salty roads you guys drive on.
It's gross. But I need a daily driver, and so this time next year I'll probably end up investing in something, and I hope that this used car bubble that we're in right now subsides a little bit so I can get an RS3, not for list price that it was on the lot.
Right. Yeah, that's a weird situation we're in right now, huh? I would say get a Mark 8. Be an early adopter. Get one, throw it on some coilovers, some cool wheels, and just drive it.
You're gonna make me yawn again.
I don't know. RS3 would be rad, but are you going to be able to calm your urges to make it a race car? See? If you had a boring Mark 8. I don't know.
I've had a handful of like grown-up cars, right? I'm gonna call them grown-up cars just because they're quiet, they're not obnoxious. You can start them at 6 o'clock in the morning and not piss off your neighbors.
Yeah.
I don't have that right now. I'm almost 40, and I've sold all those cars. I sold my Mark 6. I had a 2004 Ultra Sport A4. That was dope. I've had a couple Mark 5s that were clean and just stock-ish. You know, everything was always slammed on wheels. But I don't know. I just kind of want that, like, I can go on a date with my girlfriend and not have to yell, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on? And like,
what?
have AC.
Have AC. I don't know. I'll leave that decision up to you. You yawned at the Mark 8. I think you would be good with the Mark 8 if you got one. I think you would do some cool stuff to it. You know, be an early adopter, kind of set the precedence. Maybe pave the way for the Mark 8 kids, so they don't go the way of the Mark everything post 4 kids. Hold on though, I want to get it on the record with you. You actually think Mark 5s look good?
I actually think Mark 5s look good.
All right, I'm just messing with you.
GTIs, not Jettas.
Okay. Yeah, dude, the Jettas are gross. I'm sorry.
A yellow Fahrenheit. No offense, anyone who owns one.
Actually, there's
the banana's kind of ugly.
I've featured a couple. So like, I have to say this every time I get on the podcast. There's always a good example of anything that I shit on, and I don't shit on anything as like ill will. I'm just fucking around,
it's just
right?
personal taste.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's just personal preference, right? I've actually featured a couple of dope Fahrenheit Mark V Jettas on the Instagram page. So there's some out there, but just rolling around factory, bleh.
But the orange GTI looks so much better.
I can't get her the front end. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Well, the front end is why the Mark 6
even the taillights. I hate Mark V GTI taillights.
You just hate Mark 5s. Everybody, it's on the record.
They grew on me. They're cool cars, though. Like, I see... You know what, dude? It's like there weren't a lot of awesome, dope, just driver Mark 5s. It's like people fucked them up or they threw, like, some stupid bolt-on body kit, wide body onto them and made them look weird. I don't know.
But think about what the Mark 5 represents for Volkswagen. You had a 1AT... You had a 24-valve VR6.
Yep.
And they were good.
And then you went to the 2-liter back to a 16-valve, right?
Yep. You went to the 2-liter turbo, and you went to independent rear suspension.
Yep.
And that car banged. That car fucked hard. Like that
it did fuck hard, but it was like an ugly fuck. It was like the pillow over the face fuck hard, dude. Thinking about Mark 4s and Mark 6s and Mark 1s and Mark 2s.
I don't know. I guess I'm looking at it from a performance standpoint. Like
I was just talking aesthetics.
Had me coming back for more.
The Mark 5s are sick. Don't get me wrong. Performance-wise, GTIs, like I love that. Aesthetically, they've grown on me a little bit, and I actually was really close to getting a Mark 5 R32. Dude wanted way too much money for it, and the timing chains were about to explode in my driveway. And dude was like convinced that there was no such things as like timing chains need to be done on a Mark 5R. Literally, it was like someone was fucking shaking cans of rocks at a ridiculous speed in the like engine bay of this thing. And I'm like, yeah, this thing's gonna need some work. Oh no, dude, it's good. I'm like, no, I don't think it's good. Anyways, we can come to a a price agreement on that, but I almost got one. They've grown on me, but I think it's like you're a dog guy, right? You've got dogs. You love your dogs. You love your dogs. I love my dog. I have a dog. He's a Beagle Boston mix. His name's Ollie. He's kind of ugly, but he's only ugly if he's not your dog, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's ugly dogs out there, and like, oh, it's an ugly dog. But if it's your dog, he's the cutest dog on the planet. That's kind of how I feel about Mark V's. Like, it's like, yeah, it's an ugly dog, but if it was my ugly dog, like if I had a Mark V, it'd be different.
You could call it ugly.
Right. Well, it's not a baby. It's a dog. You can't call a baby ugly. You can call a dog ugly. Like, dude, your dog's ugly.
I don't know, man. You could call a baby ugly all you want.
I'm right there with you, dude.
No kids, no problems. Like, that's how I'm living my life.
That's hilarious. Anyways, that's how I feel about Mark V's. But as far as a daily for you, wouldn't you want to be at like the tip of the spear with the Mark 8s and just kind of fucking?
I don't prove anything.
No, it's not that you need. Not that you need to prove anything, but you know, you can kind of set a precedence.
I'm already doing that.
Yeah, with Mark 1s.
I'm already doing it on a 50-year-old
Mark
platform.
2s. Yeah, I don't know.
I want something reliable. I don't need to mess with something brand new.
I only said that because it was on a list of your options. If you had never brought it up, I'd have been like, I don't know, dude. Mark 7. Mark 7 would be fine.
Spectrum?
Spectrum would be sick.
Yeah. That's on the list. I just need to figure out what color I want and who I can convince to sell me theirs.
Yeah. And then again, you have that used car market markup, so you're going to pay way more for a Spectrum than what you'd want to. So you might as well just get a Mark 8.
That Montana green, tealish color.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm on board with that 100%. Dang, dude. I think I'm set, dude. I think I'm set with cars. I went through this whole period where I was like turning and burning. And it was like, I think I was on a mission to own all the cars that I wanted to own when I was broke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And right now I've kind of come to the realization that like, I get a bunch of shit and never finish anything, but like I'm never ever trying to build a show car. I just want shit to drive around, have fun in. So I think I'm kind of cool where I'm at right now. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of the brown Mark 1 or not. I got the Mark 2 VR. Maybe. This is a weird thing going on with that. But if I end up with it, I think I'll be happy with it. There's some things I want to clean up with it. You can check my Instagram and look at it, but it's got quad grills. It's got like big bumpers, but the bumpers aren't painted, so I'd probably paint the bumpers. Do little things to it, and then just drive it. Brown Rabbit. Just drive it. I'm going to do some stupid shit to the Brown Rabbit. That's why I like that car. It's just, I feel like I can shit on that car, and it's like completely fine. Like right now I have, I bought the Jetta Coupe, right? And it came with the 15-inch RSs. And then I had the Southern Ways, 16-inch Southern Ways for the Mark II that I bought, then sold, and now recently reacquired. But I don't want to run the Southern Ways on the Mark IIs because they don't really fit it. I got like a, what is that? It's like that fiber reinforced plastic, like 16 valve body kit, flare kit for it, and then decided I don't want to run that. So right now the Brown Rabbit has 2 RSs in the front, 15s, slammed. And then I put 2 of the 16-inch Southern Ways in the rear, slammed. So I have mismatching wheels, mismatching sizes, double staggered. And it looks so amazing. So I'm just going to do dumb shit like that with that brown car. I just have fun with it.
You do you, man.
I'm going to send you pictures. I'm going to send you one right now. Where are you? You do you, man. That was such a like,
No, I want to see pictures.
I'm gonna
It'll
send
be
you one.
fun because if you just don't give a fuck,
I just don't give a fuck.
that's all that matters.
Where are you? There you
I'm
are.
right here.
No, on my phone. Oh, I was composing a draft text message to you. Here, look at this and tell me what you think.
Show the camera.
No, I'm not gonna leak it yet. Do you have your phone on you?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the Brown's car for. It's just for me to have fun with. The coupe is the wife's. It's gonna be on 16-inch RTs. It's done. There's some like little things that I want to fix with it.
Oh, snap!
Right?
Oh, what are you doing with those RAs?
Oh, yeah, those RAs I bought. They had some brand new Toyo Proxies on them. But I got those to put on the Jetta Coupe for my wife to daily because I was scared about her, like, curbing an RS or an RT. But the tires were, like, super meaty. I threw them on. They didn't look right. I'll text you a picture of that, too.
What's super meaty? 195 45s?
Oh, fuck, I forgot. I think they're 205s.
Oh, that's perfect. Put
They
those
were, like,
fuckers on.
they looked... I had to I raised the car to put the 16-inch RTs, and I threw the 15-inch RAs on them, and I like had to like it would have been like they were sitting on the tires, so I would have had to raise the car like another half an inch to an inch.
Dope.
No, it just looked too motorsporty on the Jetta Coupe, and it's not really like a motorsporty.
You know,
Type of
that's how
car?
you eliminate curb check.
Just sidewall.
Yeah. Tires.
There you go.
You know,
I'll send this to you right now. You'll see. I don't know. That picture is a good picture, though. I went to school for photography, so I don't know how to take a bad picture. I'm just gonna throw that out right now, everybody. So they don't look like super 4x4 meaty status, but they are like in person. And so
that's dope.
I was like, I'm just gonna hold on to the RAs. Those tires are brand new. They're brand new Toyo Proxies. So I might take those tires off the RAs and put them on the OZ Super Ligeras that are on the Mark II and just have a meaty Mark II, you know?
Those tires fit that car. I think.
You're a race car driver. Your opinion doesn't count. You're a race car driver.
I'm not a vegetarian. Meat's cool.
So I don't know what I'm doing with the RAs. I don't know. I bought them to be dailies for my wife, but I think it looks good on the RTs. So, do you want some RAs?
The RTs are dope. The gold is pretty dope, though.
Mm-hmm.
The gold's classy.
Very classy. Yeah. So that's that.
Sweet,
No new
dude.
cars for me. It's gonna drive the truck in the Eurovan. I want to bag the Eurovan really bad. I want to put some attention to that thing this winter. I'm like having so much fun driving it. I don't want to like take it off the road because I know like what a weekend project would be for most people is like a 2-week fucking project for me when it comes to like having time to do shit. So like I'm having so much fun driving it and just like dailying it. I don't want to do anything to it right now, but like when winter hits and there's 3 feet of snow outside every day, I think I want to pull it into the garage, and then I'll probably like bag it and do some cool stuff to it. I got a Euro bumper for it. I want to do a 1.9 TDI swap in it.
Lift it.
No,
Lift it with some
I want to
BFGs.
fucking slam it. It's not a synchro, dude. If it was like, we didn't get them here in the United States, but if it was like something cool like that, I would lift it. But it's just a fucking front wheel drive 2.5.
All right, slam it.
I'm gonna slam the shit out of it.
And then you got to do the van thing, like the boogie van thing, where you got the side stacks for the diesel
No.
coming behind the doors.
No.
Like the 70s boogie van.
I want to do more like a cow look. like a beach cruiser. I want to do like a beach cruiser. So I want to find some like Porsche Fus. I never say that right. Like wheels, you know what I mean, for it, and make it like a Cali cruiser. Like clean some stuff up. I got E-codes for it that have been on back order since fucking 2000 BC, it seems. Like I ordered E-codes, Euro tails.
Put a Bosso Zuko tailpipe on it?
No! No! I just want it to be like a clean beach cruiser, roof racks, surfboards on top. I do want to do something with the interior, though. I want to put a system in it with like marine speakers that face out the back, so I can like pop the rear hatch up and blare some fucking Sublime while I'm surfing. That'd be rad.
Can you make some sort of windshield frame so the windshield pops open?
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. See?
Like
That's what I'm
modern
talking about. Yeah, dude. That shit. No
Yeah.
bazooka shit. No, none of that, dude. I just want it to be like a beach cruiser T4, because everyone, like, T4s haven't caught on yet. Everyone's still loving T3s, which is, I love T3s too. But I hope the T4s catch fire here in the United States.
Soon enough.
Soon enough. Dang, dude.
Cool, dude.
Yeah. So, there's going to be a point where you get with the SEMA Mark 1 where you're going to kind of keep it under wraps, right?
We're close.
We're close. So before
Super
that point
close.
comes, are you going to stop posting? You're going to still throw out teasers. You got to throw out teasers, right?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough people follow me to where it would make a difference.
What?
Like,
You have a ton of followers, dude.
I'm not famous. I'm just a little guy in Minnesota, like 2,000 followers or something. Like, I'll put like a little headlight picture and I'll get like 5 likes. So I might as well just go silent. Although I got enough people who have supported me where I feel I should probably post some content leading up to it, just so that they get their investment worth. Not that supporting means giving them that much of an ROI.
So that's one thing I was gonna try to talk to you in this podcast, and then kind of just like, nah, I'm too drunk. I had 2 beers. I wanted to know what it's like, really like, to build a SEMA Mark 1. Like, you've already been in the scene, so you have a ton of like people that you know in the industry. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you're not just an average Joe building a show car. But when it comes to like, getting sponsors and stuff like that, is it as simple for you as like just kind of reaching out to people like, hey man, this is going to be my build, I'm going to have it at SEMA, like, or was it like, because you're going to be in a booth, right? Mm-hmm. Are you in the airlift booth?
I'm in the Wave Track differentials booth.
Okay. So how did that work out?
Well, so that was the only one that was sort of, I fell into it. Like, I met Chris at, I met Chris from Wave Track at the Wave Track booth at SEMA 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Jamie introduced me, and we just hit it off. And he saw my vision, and said, "Hell yeah, let's do this." But it's not easy. It's a sales pitch. Like, I don't know anybody that's helped support me.
Yeah.
It's just, do I know someone that has a connection and they can make an introduction? Can I cold call? Like, and it's the difference here though, and this is where, I did a lot of sponsorship work and sales work in my previous role for work in the bicycle industries. Mm-hmm. It's not what they can give you, it's what can you do for them.
Right.
And you got to find what's important to them. You got to be humble. You got to just be like, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing and this is what I can offer you. Would you be interested in discussing what a partnership could look like?
Yeah. Just
candidly ask the question. But if you come in and like, yo, I got 30,000 followers, I want you to give this shit to me for free, like, next, they get 100,000 of those requests a year, right? So
that's what I was gonna say.
You gotta find a way build a relationship.
That's what I was gonna say, because like, you know, everyone's building a fucking show car as far as like airlift's concerned or rotiform's concerned, or you know, whatever. It's like they probably have like a shit ton of people like sponsor me, sponsor me, sponsor me, but actually being able to get those sponsorships. So you have that. You have Airlift, right? Did Airlift sponsor the Mark One?
Yep. So Wavetrack, Airlift, Borla
Nice.
helped me out with some throttle bodies. So after this podcast, I'm actually going to go out to the garage and polish those with a die grinder here.
Nice.
And so Wavetrack, Wavetrack, Airlift, Borla, Moore and Giles leather. So
Nice.
they're helping me out with the leather. You know, I guess I'm
Dapper?
friends with Matt at Airlift, so that did help. I guess that was kind of nice. Friends with Joe at Black Forest Industries, you know, just helping me out with like a shift knob, and I'm really excited. He's upholstering my steering wheel. He's going to wrap my steering wheel for me to match the shift knobs. And that's going to be super cool.
Awesome.
But you know, it's a lot of cold calling. You got to go and say, hey, this is who I am. Can I send you a proposal? And then you got to put together a business plan. It's not just, hey, here's my followers. Here's who I am. It's here's a well thought out methodology of how I am going to add value to you by supporting me, and not really, you know, giving them a proposal of this is what I would like, but then everything's a negotiation. They're probably going to come back and say, well, we can't give you something for free, but maybe we can give it to you for cost.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's half off. Like that, every little bit helps, and you got to be grateful, and you got to follow through. You know, it's one thing to get, you know, the support. The next thing is to make sure that you're thinking, okay, what am I committing to, and am I following through on that? And I just don't think people understand that. You're running a business at that point. Yourself, you are the commodity.
Dude, so I know we've talked about your Mark One, but I don't know if we've ever on the podcast like talked about how it turned into like a SEMA build. Like, did you know that from the jump, or was that like a goal that you set to get the car done, or to like set a goal for yourself as far as like the quality of the build that you wanted to do? Like, how did the SEMA stuff come into play when you first started figuring out like building this project?
Well, I started building the car because I sold my last Mark One, or my last that 1AT Mark One that we discussed in the first
the
podcast.
black one, right?
Yeah. Yep, and I regretted it. And I didn't set off to like, oh, I'm going to build a SEMA car because, let's be honest, I was 10 years ago. You watch it on TV, but you don't think like you ever can do that. Like you don't even have the first understanding of how to get something there, right? And so the car just evolved and morphed, and you know, I went to SEMA a couple years. It was like, oh man, it would be so much fun to have a car here and put it on display. Like that would be like a huge life goal. Not to be like to show it off, but just to like have a place where you can showcase it and reflect on what you did. Like I don't care what anybody thinks about the car. There's no ego involved. Like that's not why it's going there. It's just a reflection of like, okay, this is my accomplishment, and that's why I'm doing it. But then I want to call out that SEMA and a SEMA build quality isn't synonymous with SEMA anymore. If you every time around the show, if you watch, trust me, there are cars that will blow anything out of the water. Like the best of the best is there, but the worst of the worst is there
Right,
too.
with
Right?
paint on it.
Yeah, I saw how many like Bluetooth, you know, powered fuel injectors, and you know, Bluetooth powered drive shafts, you know, things that just obviously the drive shaft didn't exist, or they didn't, you know, they ran out of time, they didn't bolt it in, or you know, lifted trucks with pinion angles like this, and they only could put 2 bolts on the yoke because otherwise it wouldn't spin. Like there's a lot of jokes and memes that go around on Instagram around SEMA time, around like the garbage too.
Yeah, no, that's a whole scene in itself, like calling out all the bullshit at SEMA, which is fun, but a lot of that's for the show, and then when people start digging into a lot of those builds, they're like, these things are fucking garbage with like $20,000 paint jobs on it.
Not even.
Like,
it's like you don't want to go to the butcher and ask how the sausage is made, right? and unfortunately, that's some of it. And that's what I don't like about the automotive scene right now, is that people want to build things for online instant gratification and just that flash, right? If you got a good wrap and you got a really good photographer, who cares what the attention to detail is? It doesn't even need to run if it looks cool, right? Well, that's not me. I kind of like the old craft. I kind of like, and I'm relying on a lot of people to help me. Like I don't paint a car. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I don't know how to sew. So, my friend Sean at Top Stitch Upholstery is doing all that. But the old craft, the old hot rod way of doing things, it's the expensive way of doing things, but it's the right way, in my opinion, to do things.
Yeah.
And it can be scaled. Like, you don't have to make this giant splash if you don't want to. But, I guess in short, my car had scope creep and it got out of control really quick. And it got to the point where I was in so deep that I couldn't go back, because I was like, well, if I cut a corner here, you're going to notice it. Like, if I just got 250 bolts and washers back from the chrome shop, right? If I don't chrome all of the bolts now, you're going to see the one that's not chromed, because that's just the way that cars get. And this is why show cars get so expensive, is because when you have a certain attention to detail, everything's nice. What is not nice sticks out, like that zit that your prom date was freaking out about the night before prom. And you're like, shit, okay. But in reality, who gives a fuck about one bolt? It's a gorgeous car, but when you're striving to have this beautiful masterpiece, it sticks out. So then, okay, it's $5 per bolt to chrome plate. That's an exaggeration, but let's just say, that's where it adds up. And then, body shops, like, everybody wants a $3,000 paint job. Well, when you got
it's $3,000 in materials nowadays,
or more. So, do you have 350, 400 hours into the paint? Do you have another 400 to 600 hours into the metalwork? Well, there's 1,000 hours into a car at $100 an hour, right? And that's why it's unattainable for so many people. So if anyone ever asks me, I just go, figure out your budget, figure out what you want to do, and just learn and take your time. You spend money when you have deadlines, and you can get thrifty and you can find ways to accomplish things on your own when you don't have deadlines. And that's the other thing that people have to realize, is like, take your time, do it piece by piece, enjoy it. I was talking to an engine builder once, and you will have more fun doing small little mods along the way to your engine than doing them all at once, because you don't know what the net effect of each one is. So you can feel it, experience, and go, oh, hey, this really worked. And then the next one, it's like, that was a waste of money. But you wouldn't have known that if you did them all at once and spent all this money, and then you're maybe disappointed. Where you're probably less likely to be disappointed when it stacks, and then you can reflect back and look at how far you've gone, right? And maybe that's the grassroots approach in me. I'm talking about grassroots and have a no budget build, which is a little bit of a conundrum right there. But I mean, it's still kind of core to who I want to be, or who I try to be.
Man, that's well said, well put. And it's a snowball build, right? You can't, once you hit a certain point, you can't cut those corners. But also you have OCD though. So I don't think, regardless if you could cut corners, I don't think you would. I don't think you could. By nature.
I think that's a late blooming thing in my life. I think I didn't know any better when I was younger.
When the car is back from the painter, back from the upholsterer, back from, anyone who's assisting with the build and anything you're not going to physically touch, from that point, it's just, is it in your garage and a race to the finish with doing everything else, essentially assembling the car for SEMA?
Yep, it's me, a flock of seagulls, playlist,
Nice.
and a case of LaCroix next to me, and my wrenches. Like it's a one-man show. I'll obviously have very good and close friends here in Minneapolis that will help me. My buddy Jack,
Right.
I know, is going to come and help me. My buddy Tony will come and help me, but
I want to come help
Brad, you talk to Mark when Brad, he'll probably come and help me. But part of it is being a control freak, and if it gets scratched, I want to scratch it and yell expletives as loud as I can and not get pissed at a friend.
Yeah.
And part of it is just, I don't want to rely on anybody else until I need it. And then when it hits a certain point and I need help, I've told myself, all right, I'm not afraid to ask for it. And, that's when I'm going to fly you out. Sorry, have you drive out in your Raptor with my engine in the back of it. No, Marty's got to take a road trip.
I don't do that. Would take me like 7 years.
Memories.
That takes 7 years to get there in Marty.
It's 24 hours.
I definitely need the TDI swap before I drive that in Marty. I don't think I'd make it. Dude, that's freaking awesome. I know we've talked outside of the podcast, and you've even mentioned it here, the anxiety and stress level that you have for finishing this car. Is that a realization that's starting to set in as you get closer to the date? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are you feeling about the timeline as far as that you're on in regards to the state of the car now versus when you want to have it finished to obviously have it debut at SEMA?
All right, I have 92 days to my goal.
It's 3 months.
And the stuff is coming in, but the transmission's not here, the engine's not here, the body's not here. The dash is being upholstered right now, and I have it scheduled. Like, we're flexible with the upholstery shop, so the big stuff is going to make it, but I don't know, it's self-inflicted, to be honest, and it's just me wanting to follow through on a commitment. I made a commitment to people, I made a commitment to myself.
Yeah,
I want to see it through, and shit happens. Like, if the car doesn't start, it's still going, and if it gets to a certain point where it doesn't start, I'm going to focus on making it complete and having all the components together so that it shows well. But I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to make the damn thing run. But 92 days is October 15th.
92
and
days.
That's sort of that's like my hard stop, because the show is November, the first weekend in November. I show up in Vegas on Halloween, so I probably need to get it on a transport no later than the 25th of October.
So I was going to ask you,
okay.
I was going to ask you about that, how you're even getting the car to Nevada. So you're definitely going to transport it? You're not going to tow it and drive it, or... Well, definitely not drive it. Not drive it,
No,
but I mean, you're not
driving.
going to throw it on a trailer and tow it or anything like that?
Maybe. I mean, that's a little up in the air as well. Closed transports, $1,600 a direction, with someone that you trust, or that you think you trust.
After that build, that's completely worth it.
But that's a lot of money for $3,200. I could buy another enclosed trailer, and then I have my gas and my time that I'd have to account for. But I could tow it down there and just take my sweet ass time. That's an option too. And then you have a trailer that you could sell at the end if you don't want to keep it, right? So, like, where do you invest your money? is the convenience of a a licensed bonded transport worth it?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will say yes. I guess I'm still on the fence a little bit.
All right. So looking past SEMA, let's say everything goes good. You're even predicting that maybe into spring you need to shake some things out with the car. What happens with it when you're done? When you're done, is it a driver? Is it a show car at that point? Are you trailering it everywhere?
Well, I want to bring it to Alpine Volksfest next year. I want to bring it to Eurotripper. I want to go to Eurocracy with it.
That's in Canada,
And then,
right? Is that up in Canada?
So in Canada, yeah, if the border's open by then. And then I'll want to go to the Low Show next year with it. And then, if all goes well, I would love to have a PDVW shoot. And if that happens, and all of those other things happen with the car, then it's a driver. Then it's just enjoy it on sunny days where it's not raining. Go to Cars and Coffee. It's a car. It's meant to be driven. The underside of the car is stripped and bodyworked, and I was going to make it as shiny as the outside of the car. And when I realized that I wanted to drive it, and it wasn't just a museum piece because it's a car, we decided to do color tinted Raptor coat,
Nice.
texture
Yeah.
on the inside of the wheel wells and on the whole underside of the car. So it's still the body color, but it's a really fine texture. It's not like that gloopy undercoating that people have. It's badass stuff, but that texture
it's
was like
resilient.
a negotiation.
Yeah, it's like resilient to drive too. You're not worrying about painting everything and driving it and then just getting everything chipped up.
Yep, and I'll be able to put it on a lift, and I'll be able to clean it up, and it's the underside is clear coated over it, so it'll be able to wipe down really nice, and it'll still look great. I mean, it's still a ridiculous spec compared to what most people are building these cars to.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see that thing. And seriously, man, I want to come check it out. So you just got to get me some dates, and I'll try to make something happen. Dude, seriously, if I have to hop on a plane and only be there for like a day, I might just do that.
All right. Well, after this podcast, let's get on the horn and figure it out.
All right. Well, with that said, dude, we've done almost 2 hours. I think that was a good White Girl Wasted podcast. Although I'm not too wasted.
I love it. And I only have one beer.
And we didn't talk too much shit, because I was worried that like when I drink, I start to lose my filter. And that's why I typically never drink on podcasts, because I don't want to like lose my filter and say stuff that'll get me in trouble. But it was just fun, man. It was great chatting with you. So thanks for coming back on and just bullshitting with me, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Here's what I would love. I would love to do a multi-person Mark I podcast, or like a live. Can we do like an IG live and get all of the Mark I heavy hitters together? Like, can we get Toby? Can we get Jason Belays? Can we get
hey, that dude's OG.
There's all the people that
Dude, if they want to come and talk, yeah, I'm sure. That'd be rad. I would be down for it. I would try to figure out how we could do that. Just maybe we'll do like a Mark I Monday podcast with all the Mark I heavy hitters, and they can tell you how you're not allowed to go to Madness if you don't drive your car into the campgrounds.
And let's just be honest. I'm not a heavy hitter. I'm building a dope car, but I'm not one of the people that I look up to. Like, I'm going to be like such a nerd going, you guys have the cars that I've always looked up to. Hi.
Well, man, I think LeBron will beat Jordan in the game on 101 nowadays. So there's always that torch passing. But I would say that, with the build that you're doing and the history that you have, you're up there, man. Heavy hitter for sure.
I'll graciously say thank you.
Humble. Love it. Well, Aaron,
Cool.
Dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast again. I kind of almost want to do this like monthly with you. We'll have like a monthly Aaron and Ryan. Maybe a separate podcast series. Dude, that'd be dope. And we'll just
okay, so like the Smoking Tire podcast and some of these other podcasts. There's this new one I watched, Low Riding with Lloyd. And
Low Riding with Lloyd?
If you watch the Hoonigan channel on YouTube, you'll see that this Lloyd dude has he's got Tupac's 61 Impala from Live and Die in LA. And so I started following him just because I secretly love lowriders.
Yeah, we all do.
And I would love to build a car on juice someday. That would be dope. See, look, I don't even sound right when I say juice. I would like to build a car on hydraulics someday.
I want to hydro the Eurovan, dude. That'd be sick.
Hell yeah! But this dude Lloyd has Low Riding with Lloyd is his podcast on YouTube, and Brian Scotto, who I follow, he's got that dope swallowtail. He was on it because the Hoonigans helped do some engine work on this dude's car, and they have some cool production. Like they've got different video and voiceover of them driving cars and stuff like that. And then there's the table, and they're there together talking. I'm like, we need to get together in person and get a bunch of people on the phone. That would be dope.
We'll put a business plan together, and we'll do a separate standalone podcast, and we'll try to make that happen.
Game on.
We're definitely not Hoonigan, but we'll figure it out. I don't think we have the pockets, but
we have the panache.
We have the panache. I'm down. But Aaron, dude, thank you so much.
Thank you
again for chatting with me and drinking beers and stuff like that. And then, yeah, dude, I seriously want to do this again. So if we don't decide to start our own separate podcast, I want to have you back on, and we'll just bullshit. Thanks, Aaron. Dude, thanks everybody for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.